Thousands are gathering for the UN Assembly, the world's highest-level decision-making body on the environment. Delegates, including heads of state and ministers, have gathered in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, for the third United Nations Environment Assembly. This year's theme is Towards a Pollution-Free Planet, and delegates will be discussing pollution maintenance and solutions. The key meeting aims at finding solutions to combat the problem. And to get more on this, we're joined by Yusuf Kelani, who is an environmentalist. He's live for us in Lagos. Yusuf, a very important meeting indeed. What should we expect in the coming days?
Well, I think as it is, we need to actually get to sit down on the round table and begin to analyze the decisions taken at the COP21 in Paris Agreement, if we're true to actually implementing the decisions reached there. Because there's a lot to be done by African countries and also the big countries who contribute more to the global pollution in terms of emission of the greenhouse gases. We need to actually sit down and ask questions if we are actually sincere and we are ready to match our actions with our words in terms of the promises we made, in terms of fulfilling the target set for African nations and for the bigger nations as well. It's very, very important we do that. Then we now have to sit down and speak to our government if our government are actually sincere and they are actually ready to meet up with the targets.
Yusuf, is it possible to have a pollution-free planet?
Well, that would be difficult to actually say here because it's important we actually respect the environment the way nature actually created it. And by what we see around us, especially from the very big nations of the world, practically it will be difficult to say here that we can have a pollution-free planet. But, well, we can actually help to reduce the pollution and make the environment a safe place for everybody, both humans and all creatures that are actually living on the earth.
Several countries have made efforts to reduce pollution in big cities. What more needs to be done to ensure a better environment?
Well, I think for African countries, the government needs to separate politics from actually facing the reality of environmental degradation. We need to take the issue of pollution much more serious and take the campaign a bit further and work with NGOs who are actually helping to propagate the awareness on emission all over the world. And I think it's very, very important. For Africa, education is key. It's very, very important. We need to inform the people that climate change is no more a myth, it's actually a reality. As we can see in the last few years, last year, this year, we experienced what we never expected to happen in Africa, in Ghana, a very huge flooding. And just early this year, we had in Liberia, where a lot of people died. And it shows, much as we are not happy with these occurrences, but it actually proves to us practically that we need to engage our people in understanding what climate change is all about and the necessary action that we need to take. So for me, if our leaders are prepared and ready to do this across board, then we will be having, we will be prepared to actually mitigate and combat these issues once they actually come up. And at the same time, again, we need to speak with the countries of the world who actually contribute more to pollution, that the climate finance and the climate funding should be well discharged, and they need to visit these African countries and actually give them the opportunity to access the funds so that they can help in educating the people and preparing the continent for any eventualities, which we actually don't pray for. But with this, if you can put all this into perspective and you put them into practice, definitely there's possibility of having a pollution-free planet, like you asked.
All right, Yusuf Kelani, live for us in Lagos. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you.